guys, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am bringing you a giant book haul, probably the biggest, well definitely the biggest book haul that I've put up on my channel so far. These are all of the books that I accumulated in the month of May and most of the month of June. So let's just get started. I'm not going to talk about any of them in too much detail just because I don't want this video to be too terribly long. But like I said, these are all the books that I accumulated in May and June. So let's just get started. The first book that I pre-ordered actually is The Fate of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. This is the third and final book in the Queen of the Tearling trilogy, and I have yet to read the second and third one. I've been waiting for all three of them to come out in paperback so I could just marathon them. So this is supposed to come out on June 27th, and I will hopefully get it the day that it comes out, if not the day after. So really excited about that one. The next one that I got from my library book sale is The Leaving by Tara Altebrando. This is a young adult thriller. I do know that it's about 6 kids who were taken whenever they were younger. 5 of them come back when they're teenagers, and they all try to figure out what happened to the 6th one. So I heard some good things about this whenever I first started BookTube, and it kind of fell off my radar a little bit, but then it just came in as a donation, so I figured why not pick it up. The next one I got in my first book outlet order, and let's just say I was very pleased. We'll definitely order from them again. And that is The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly. I read this last year and absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books of last year. So if you like dark fairy tale retellings or books about stories, I think you'll really love this one. Highly recommend. Next up, I picked up again from my library book sale, and that is My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. I would like to read Rebecca first before I read this one. I'm planning to read Rebecca in August with the Books and Jams read-along group, and then hopefully get to this one so I can read it before I watch the movie. Next up is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I've actually never seen this cover before. It's like a special middle grade print or something. It only cost $10 here on the back. But anyway, I've heard good things about this one, and I've kind of been on a Neil Gaiman kick right now after I finished Neverwhere this month and loved it. So I'm eager to pick up Stardust, as I've heard good things. Next up, a lot of the rest of these are going to be thrillers. I'm kind of collecting them before fall rolls around, so I can just kind of dive into a bunch of thrillers for Spookathon and just fall and winter in general. But the first one is Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. This cover really intrigued me, and I really enjoyed The Girl on the Train when I read it in 2015, last year, I can't remember. But I did like it, and yeah, I'm just eager to see how her writing has changed, if at all. Next up, again, another thriller, got from Book Outlet, and that is You by Caroline Kepnes. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I'm just really intrigued because this is written from the point of view of a stalker, and he talks in the second person. So this whole time that he's talking to you, which is supposedly this girl right here, but as you're reading it, it supposedly feels like he's actually talking to you, the reader, and that just really intrigues me, so I picked this one up, hoping to get to that one sometime in the fall. The next book up is a book that I received from my book swapathon buddy, Mariana, and I am excited to read this one. This was actually on my radar a few years ago, and then I kind of forgot about it, so I'm excited she sent it to me so I can actually read it. But that is The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. I think this is supposed to be like a Jack the Ripper retelling. Not that Jack the Ripper is like a story. I mean, it is and it isn't. But it's supposed to kind of dive into this idea of Jack the Ripper a little bit further, and it's supposed to be a historical fiction thriller, I think. But Mariana had nothing but good things to say about this, so I'm excited to read it and let her know what I think about it. Next up, another thriller, one that I've heard amazing things about, and that is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This is supposed to be super scary. It's about a girl whose father is this famous horror film director, and she goes missing, and I think she's brutally murdered. but I haven't heard too many details about it, because with thrillers and things like that, you don't want to give too many things away. But that's all I know about this. It's supposedly really, really good. And I love how floppy this paperback is, so I'm excited to get to that in the fall, probably. Next up is a book that I actually had to delete from my library collection because it was very damaged. So I ordered a replacement copy, but I felt like this was still readable, so I figured I'd take it home and see if I liked it. And that is Hunted by Megan Spooner. The spine, if you can see that, it looks like it got chewed on by something or someone, and it got really wet. I tried to fix it, but it didn't look very good. So this is a young adult Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I've heard some really good things about it, so I'm a little skeptical because, as you know, Beauty and the Beast is like my favorite thing in the world, and I have yet to find a retelling that I really, really love, so I'm excited to see what this one's all about. Next up is a book got from a used bookstore. That is On Writing by Stephen King. I wanted to read this for years. I've heard that it is one of the must-read books if you're interested in learning more about the craft of writing. And I was excited to find this beautiful edition at my used bookstore. The spine is what drew my eye. I just love the flowers. Next up, got this from the clearance section at Books A Million, and that is Eve by William Paul Young. This supposedly is told from the points of view of Adam and Eve, if not just Eve, and it really gets inside her head on what it was like in the Garden of Eden, but it just looked really intriguing to me, and it was really cheap, so why not? Next up, I ended up trying Book of the Month in the month of May, and just to see what it was like. I don't know if I'm going to continue on my subscription in the future, but I did pick out Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane as my May book of the month. This cover really pulled me in because I love the colors, and I've heard great things about this author. Dennis Lehane wrote Mystic River and Shutter Island, which are two movies that I have seen and enjoyed. So I figured I'd try this one. I've heard good things about the author. Next, several books I've got at my used bookstore. The first one being Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. This is apparently about a little boy whose father is killed in 9/11, and there's this mystery surrounding his dad, I think, and he sets out to try to solve the mystery. That's all I know, but I've heard amazing, amazing things about this book, especially from Max over at Well Done Books when he was making videos, but I still see him post about this on Instagram sometimes, so I'm interested to see why he loves that book so much. Next book is Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fanny Flagg. I have always wanted to read this book ever since I saw the movie as a teenager. I really liked it. It's about two friends in a southern town. One of them works at the Whistle Stop Cafe, and the other one, there's some issues with her husband, and I remember it being a very quirky, funny, heartwarming southern story, and I love those type of stories, so I'm eager to read this and see if I like it as much as the movie. The next two books I picked up are by Sarah Addison Allen, the first one being Lost Lake, and the second one being The Sugar Queen. I read both of these, I think, back to back last year or the year before. I think it was 2015. It's actually been a little while. But I read, which one? Oh, The Girl Who Chased the Moon by Sarah Addison Allen in 2015. That was the first book I had read by her, and I fell in love with her writing style. She does like this southern, sweet, magical realism type of story just so well, and it just pulled me in. I wouldn't necessarily call her books chick lit, but that's as close as I can get to describing what they felt like. They were all sweet and heartwarming, and she writes about food and smells so well, and it's just very atmospheric, and I love her writing, so I would like to start collecting her books. So I got these two. And usually her books center around a female protagonist that is forced to kind of go back into her past and examine her feelings about certain things. And usually she loves food, or she likes sweets or something like that, the sugar queen specifically. And like I said, there's some magical realism in there, and I could go on and on. I really love her writing, so I got those two. The next one, I've heard Katie from Life Between Words absolutely rave about, and I had never heard of it before she mentioned it, but I'm excited to get to Peace Like a River by Leif Anger. I don't know anything about it, literally nothing, but I've just heard her mentioned several times that this is one of her favorite books of all time, so I'm excited to see why she likes that book so much. The next book, I can't remember if I've hauled this already, so I'm just showing it again just in case, but this is Unblemished by Sarah Ella. I have mentioned this before, but this is sent to me by Cassie, one of my friends and subscribers, for my birthday in April, and I'm planning to still get to it sometime this month for the Emoji-a-thon. But yes, this is a YA fantasy, I think, magical fantasy. We'll see how I like it. Okay, so we're on the home stretch here. I've got a pile that's like perched precariously over here. The next book is Be Frank With Me by Julia Claiborne Johnson. Don't know too much about this, but I want to say I've heard Bree Hill mention this as being really good on her channel. So I just picked it up in the donations pile at work, and I didn't really think too much about it. So we'll just see how I like it. I think it's supposed to be an adult contemporary / family drama. We'll see. Okay, on the home stretch, second to last book here, and that is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I've heard amazing things about this book from Emily over at Possibly Literate. She convinced me to finally purchase it and pick it up, so I'm excited to get to this. This is the start of an adult fantasy trilogy called the Broken Earth Trilogy, and I've heard nothing but amazing things, so I'm excited to get to it and really dive back into fantasy again, because it's been a while and I have a really good feeling about this one. Okay, the last book. Oh my goodness, this pile is going to fall. The last book, to carefully reach it. Okay, I think we're good. The last book is The Passage by Justin Cronin. Picked this up at my used bookstore. It's a little bit beat up, but it's very floppy and wonderful. So, and I hadn't seen this cover yet, so I thought it was kind of creepy with the face. But this is apparently an adult sci-fi, post-apocalyptic story involving vampires, and vampires is one of my book buzzwords, so I had to pick this up. And I've heard amazing things about this from Emily over at Books with Emily Fox, and I really trust her opinion when it comes to fantasy and sci-fi. So yeah, I'm excited about this one. It is a chunker though, so we'll see when I actually get to it, maybe in the fall or winter time. But those are all of the books that I accumulated in May and June. Thank you so much for watching. So give this a thumbs up if you watch towards the end, or if you like this video. I will see you guys very soon with my June wrap up. Maybe you'll see a couple tags coming your way. Yeah, I feel like it's been a while since I've actually gotten into filming for BookTube again. Like I've been producing videos consistently, I would think, but I'm not in like a BookTube mindset right now, just because things have been crazy recently in my brain. So I'm excited to get back into things. So I'll see you guys really soon with a new video. Bye.